There you are. Welcome, Scorpio, to your Scorpio April 2021 reading and forecast. I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are just stopping by for the first time, nice to meet you, but a particular hello and love and affection to the subscribers. It's great to see you back again. I love you and thank you very much for your great support, and I love corresponding with you. And in fact, I have read for a number of you privately, haven't I, over the last month. And if you'd like to find out how you can have a clairvoyant reading with me, which lasts about an hour, just check out the information that's in the description box below. But we had great fun, didn't we? And in fact, we have great fun on this channel. It's different, it's good, and it's a good club, one of the best on the World Wide Web. Now, this deck, you probably haven't seen this deck before. I hadn't. It was given to me by a former lover of mine. This is before I had children. And remarkably, given how these things tend to often work out, we've actually remained good friends, and in a platonic sense, that is. And she's a witch. And she gave me this deck. Now, when she gave me the deck, it was wrapped up with rope. She'd wrapped rope around the deck to give it to me, because that, actually, for those in the know, when you give a deck of tarot cards to someone, you wrap it in string or in rope. So now you also are in the know, and join those who are in the know as well. But let's see what the thing is, because she said, listen, Nigel, this is a very difficult deck to read, you know. And I said, is it? And actually, it is challenging, but I think I've broken it. And when I say broken it, it's having spent a lot of time meditating over it, it now speaks to me. And it is, I won't go into the process as to how I managed to do that. Maybe I'll do a video on it one time. But all I'll say is this, is that you will find that there'll be comfort and joy and peace of mind which will come as a result of this deck, I think, today. So let's draw 5 cards. That's our normal number, isn't it? 5 cards. So let's, just a couple of people watching, so they'll watch how it's read. Let's see what there is in store for you. There is, ooh, the moon. Excellent, the moon. Wow, interesting. Yeah, really interesting sort of artwork on this, you know. There's the 9 of Swords. Let's see what else there is. Here is Judgment. Major Arcana, number 20 for you. Let's see what this is. The 3 of Pentacles. Excellent. Excellent indeed. And we shall finally do this, because 5 is all we need. Now here we go. And here it is. It is the 6 of Cups. Well, why don't you come sit down next to me? We'll have a good close look at the imagery together while these cards talk to me, and I will tell you what they have to say for you for this month. Right, now for the highly talented and attractive Scorpio. What a fantastic spread of cards. Let's have a look at this first one here, which is the ruler of the flux and reflux, the child of the sons of the mighty, otherwise known as the moon. What a startling moon image this is it not? Now you'll notice that the developer has assigned Pisces as the constellation to the card, which I agree with. In fact, it is Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. And I guess what this is asking you, is it a reality or is it an illusion? Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition, and with artistry. Now, this is the last of the major arcana, incidentally, at least in my school of thought, which is associated with the zodiac sign. And Neptune in Pisces, well, Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, with visions, and the imagination, which links it in with the qualities of the moon, I think. And look at the interesting corpses almost of these women here. This one here and this side there, the wolves, the waning moon, sort of like a dead yet live woman. Claim me, O wife, let thy veils open and thy veiling mists part to admit me to thy mystery, to the unexplored wilds of thy being. Now there is another interesting esoteric thing here. You might see that. That's a Hebrew letter. That's called Meme. It's the 13th letter of the biblical Hebrew alphabet. And why might that be there? Well, how can I explain the way of looking at this? Imagine the divinity, all light, all information of anything, ever, now or in the future, or even contemplated or possible. Pure light. And yet the letter, the biblical letters, act as a sort of a lens, a projector through which that light can be refracted and refined to show an image or a message. And the letter Meme is water, which ties it in, of course, I suppose, with Pisces being the last of the water signs, the mutable water sign. The letter Meme is water, the waters of wisdom, of knowledge, or of, on one view, the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, which forms part of all the Abrahamic religions, being Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But the concepts involved in those will, of course, be recognized by the Hindu audience in the Vedas and the other works that are around. This represents both waters and manifestation. It is the ability to dive deep into the wisdom. It is said that in every person is the thirst for the words of the Creator, which are the waters of life. The meme, the open meme, refers to the revealed aspects of providence, while the closed meme refers to the concealed part of the celestial rule that nonetheless guides us all and all of existence. This is opened. Now, the meme also corresponds in gematrial terms. That's a science of a mystical science of lettering of ancient texts. It corresponds to the number 40 and represents the time necessary for the ripening process that leads to fruition. 40 days for the development of the embryo, 40 years in the desert before reaching the Holy Land, 40 years development before the biblical hero of Moses was prepared to be the leader of Israel. Now, the meme also teaches us about balanced emotions, balancing the watery motions of our feelings. And it is about humility, because water is the substance that always runs downhill to the lowest place, isn't it? There is a sense in here for me that this is a period where you are burning off some karma. There is a sort of a mental confusion about, maybe something of a difficult period where you lack clarity. There could also, I have to say, be deception around you at the moment. Someone may be trying to deceive you. I also think that you might find that there is increased psychic awareness during this period. Now, the moon, of course, also has a very tidal, or causes changes in tides, which the feeling is coming through for me can actually refer to a very sexualized and erotic relationship, as that can be very tidal, can't it? Now, this may be one which you have just in fantasy, or it may be one that you play out. You have heard the call of the unknown, I think, at this time. You are on the threshold of new experience. Pay attention now to the voice of your heart and scrutinize calmly and carefully the offers of assistance and guidance that you might receive from other people. I think it's also a time where you want to consider what inner regions feel strange, alien, or unknown to you. Where are your blind spots? What experiences are you most afraid of? Say this to yourself, though. It is always darkest just before the dawn. And say this also. I like what is mysterious within me and within others. I express myself fully and openly, just like the moon, where, of course, it is responsible to do so. And say, through my choices, I can change my experience. Now let me turn directly to this other card on the same horizontal, which is the Nine of Swords. Now, a lot of people think, oh dear, the Nine of Swords is such a terrible card, but actually in this spread it's not, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's said to be Sagittarius in, what would that be? Gemini, okay. Well, I would agree with that, Sagittarius and Gemini. I'm getting that vibe. In fact, I'm getting the second decan of Gemini, that 1st to the 11th of June. Look, I call this the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. Mars in Gemini, well, the one-pointed nature of Mars doesn't sit well with the scattered energy of Gemini. And Mars in Gemini natives, that is people who have Mars in Gemini in their birth chart, they can get fired up and use words as their weapon, and very cruelly so at times. The 9 here also, to me, has, and it's interesting that it's on this same line, but it has an association mystically with me for the moon, which is about subconscious thoughts, which is about things below, which is about almost like a mental cruelty, almost like a self-imposed mental cruelty. The number 9 represents the cycle of returns in numerology, this loop. The reason is that every time you multiply a number by 9 and break the number down, you end up with 9. 9 3s are 27, 2 and 7 are 9, 9 9s are 81, 8 and 1 is 9, and so on. It always comes back to 9. And this loop, also within the suit of swords, can turn into something of a negative thought loop. And then this negative thought loop can then spill over into the emotions and give you not only mental anguish, but also a feeling of despondency or of anxiety. Now, I'm going to tell you this because you're a grown-up and you can take it here, that where this card is placed here, I have to tell you that it can mean that, well, it will generally mean that there is a cruelty directed at yourself. It indicates a tendency to put yourself down with immense energy, and that energy is coming from Mars. Destructive accusations made by parents or teachers in your childhood continue in your mind with undiminished harshness to affect you. But now you yourself, you have taken over the role of accuser. Now, this may happen in the form of an internal debate between two people or points of view. You are afraid to make a definitive choice, then denigrate yourself for your indecisiveness. Or you make a choice and then torture yourself with a bad conscience. You chose wrong. You can therefore have what can often have been a long-term, long-standing form of self-accusation and self-deprivation arising from feelings of regret or guilt or offense about things that have happened in the past, particularly those things that you may have done yourself. Now, let me tell you this, and this is important to know in this card, and I'll tell you why, because it's got there's 6 of Cups sitting underneath it, and it's got the Judgment here with the tremendous, what I'm looking at, that Hebrew letter and what it has to say as well. This card, this message that is demanding that I tell you is this, that despite what you may believe, you can disappoint people and still be good enough. You can make mistakes and still be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserving of love. Everyone has disappointed someone they care about. Everyone messes up, lets people down, makes mistakes, not because we are inadequate or fundamentally inept or stupid, but because we are imperfect and fundamentally human. That's why you have come here. And expecting anything different is just setting yourself up for failure, because remember, nobody is perfect. So remember also that this energy here points out your tendency to put yourself down cruelly. You'll have to recognize and fully see this behavior pattern before you'll be able to overcome it. You understand that, don't you? Who judged you earlier? How do you now condemn yourself? Are you ready now to forgive your parents, others, and yourself? And remember this, and remember this always, and say it to yourself. I am loved simply because I am the way I am. Let's have a look at the major arcana that's sitting in the middle, shall we? The spirit of the primal fire. And let's have a look at her. She has, of course, the symbol for fire. This is judgment, isn't it? Yes, it's judgment. There she is, not with the trumpet as is usually the case. And here's that biblical letter that I was talking to you about. Can you see that? That is that Shin. It's the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it is the letter of fire and transformation. Fire and transformation. Shin literally means tooth, and its shape is like 3 branches of flame. These are the 3 pillars of the Kabbalistic tree of life. You know, the 3, there's 1, a center, and a 3rd pillar of cruelty, mercy, and then there is the middle path that you take through the middle there. Now, these 3 pillars of the tree of life, they kind of reach high like flames, purifying and changing the condition of your life, teaching you to become aligned with the whole of creation. It also represents the right and left extreme opposites and the requirement to balance them by following the central path, the middle way. Now, Shin looks like a tooth, and both the tooth and fire meanings of Shin refer to it as a process of transformation, breaking down, grinding into particles, building anew, cooking, the firing of a clay pot into form. The whole process of transformation, healing, breaking, and restoring. The fire also represents the unchangeable, the unmovable, and thus is a symbol of divine power. The spirit constantly transforms the matter, yet remains unchanged itself. Matter changes constantly, yet the spirit within does not change. So all of life is a process of learning to align with that unchangeable essence. Shin is the flame of the spirit, which we must keep always burning within us. Finally, I think this letter, the Shin, teaches us balance. It's really looking at the 3 flames, if you like, holding up 2 sides. The world cannot continue without both, so you've got to keep a balance between both mercy and sometimes difficulty or what would I call it? Correction. You've got to find the middle way between the opposites of the extremes. Now, I think what this is talking about, that there is a decision coming up here with you now, which has a major impact on your life. Now, this may be a lifestyle change, it could be a career change, it could be a change in the way you go about doing things. And I've got to tell you, these changes are positive. It's time to move on after having seen the bigger picture. It's also a time to take some time out so that you can see the bigger picture. It's a natural period of growth and shedding of things and people that no longer serve. I keep having this feeling of the flame here. Burn me, O flame. You are the breath of my beloved, the body of her embrace, the passion of his seeding. I think it's true to say that you are being challenged to drop your worm's eye view, if you like, to see things now from a higher plane. When you have recognized greater time spans and other contexts, which you are increasingly ready to do, by the way, you will then tend to move more and more to observe things in their beingness, to see free from evaluation. Which methods are you going to use to gain deeper insight and greater wisdom? Time is short, you know. You're not here for a long time. None of us are. Say this to yourself. I observe people and situations objectively and fairly. I value the combination of my qualities and characteristics. I honor the unlimited well of creativity within me to express in family and career settings. God is the unknown, the mysterious. The more I know that I don't know, the closer I am to the divine. Oh, this is the great card. This is the Lord of Material Work. Let's have a look at the Lord of Material Work. Now, the developer has Mars in Capricorn. Now, I'd say it's the second decan of Capricorn myself, which is the 3rd to the 12th of January. That fixed sign of Capricorn is what I'm getting here. And look at these three things here. I wonder what they are. We'll talk about those in just a second when it comes to me. Mars in the middle of Capricorn. Well, Mars is about energy, assertion, and vitality, isn't it? And Capricorn, well, that really equates with ambition, practicality, making things tangible. Look, the good thing is that Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so its really best qualities come through here. And so the energy of Mars in this situation is very constructive in Capricorn, rather than its often destructive self, and Capricorn's materialism benefits from the energy and activity of Mars. So this card signifies that investing time and effort in work, however broadly defined, will turn out favorably for you. This card indicates, I think, full employment of your energies in any situation which you feel yourself obliged to deal with. You are willing to undertake even difficult tasks at the moment, and that sense of obligation comes from within. It's not being put upon you. Your whole being is needed. Full engagement of all of your energy is necessary now. Now, there are these three wheels here. They can be referred to as body, mind, and spirit, but I might also think of them as being the three gunas. Now, none of these can be left out. But let's look at body, mind, and spirit for a start. Only through their combined and balanced use will you see visible results. The energies of different planes are united by their common goals. So I'm seeing here there's really something new happening in the area of your job or career. You're getting a lot of satisfaction from career. You'll be doing a good job. There's continued progression and productivity, possibly even teamwork and consulting with others. Now, these three gunas that I talk of are basically Hindu-based things. They are tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas, I'll say, is a state of darkness, inertia, inactivity, and materiality. And it manifests really from ignorance and deludes all beings from their spiritual truth. Rajas is a state of energy, action, change, and movement. The nature of Rajas is of attraction, longing, and attachment. And Rajas strongly binds to the fruits of your work. And Sattva I'd call a state of harmony, balance, joy, and intelligence. And it's the guna that the yogis achieve, as it reduces Rajas and Tamas and thus makes liberation more powerful. But these are all balanced in you during this time. Tremendous. And then we go to the Lord of Pleasure. And don't you, as do we all, love pleasure? And here we have the Sun ruling Scorpio, and I'd say it's the second decan of Scorpio. The 6 here, the 6 of Cups, I have a mystical association with the Sun, so there is a double Sun here. And a double Sun reveals what Scorpio wants to hide. This is talking about lust, enjoyment, pleasure in sexual relationships. Now, these can be just conducted in a fantasy world, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. But certainly here also there is pleasure, indulgence, excitement, communication with ancestors. But the pleasure here, I've got to specify this, the pleasure here is the kind of pleasure which is completely harmonized. The zodiacal sign governing the card being Scorpio, well, pleasure there is rooted in its most convenient soil, isn't it? This is a preeminently fertile card, and really for me it's one of the best in the pack. This is talking also about pleasure experienced after much hardship. And perhaps you're undergoing or have been undergoing a period of healing here, because this brass sort of look to her is reminiscent of Venus to me, and that's very much to do with healing. The emphasis is on a relationship or the desire to have a relationship that will improve both the individuals, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Enjoy now all which life gives you. This is the best way to express your gratitude. Are you holding on to old beliefs which prevent your enjoyment of pleasure? Enjoy your own emotional wealth and share it with someone. And say to yourself, I am now open to a partner with whom I can share the joys of love on all levels. Oh, that's the way it is for you. Well, it was my pleasure and privilege to provide that reading for you. Isn't it interesting, you know, the things that come through with tarot cards? You know how one card can have so many things that it wants to get across to you. It never ceases to amaze me, and I'm confident that you will have enjoyed it as well. Look, and if you do enjoy it, please do me the favor and hit the like button. Apparently it does things for the YouTube gods, and it would help more people see what we ourselves enjoy. But listen, in the meantime though, there's one thing that I want you to remember, and to remember it always, and that is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.